Miss my coffee.
Ernie, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, Mario.
Hi, Mario.
How are you guys?
We're good.
Harold, what time is Minyan at Young Israel these days? Huh? You're muted.
In the morning, you want to know?
Yeah.
I think 5:35. Let me just check here.
Oh, it's inside the shul?
No, the 5:35 is outside. Let me just check for tomorrow. I'm sorry, 5:40 outside and 6:45 inside.
These are ungodly hours.
Yeah, well, because it can't be together. So the 6:45, we say slichas inside, then we go outside the dav, and as soon as the outside leaves. With 5:40, yeah, 5:40 stuff. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll make you a nice breakfast.
Thank you very much. It's kind of you.
Yeah.
Okay, Mem Gimel
Egg
Amud Aleph.
McMuffin. Mem Gimel. Okay.
Mem Gimel 43. Virabba, my time in Rav Zera. Rab and Rav Zera gave different reasons as to why you're allowed to carry in a boat. So b'malech es kulam lo pligi. When the boat is moving, everybody agrees that you're allowed to carry everywhere because it's a moving daladamas. Ki pligi b'sha'amda. The machlokas is when it stays still. Then if there's walls, according to the one who says there's walls, be okay. The one who says that because it's a moving daladamas, if it's standing still, you don't have that kula. The wording of our Mishnah is also, you can learn from there that there's no machlokes when it's moving. Mimai, how do you know that? Militani. Maisa Shabami Plandrison. It was a story where they came from a town, Plandrison. The Fliga Sfinosa Bayam. The boat was traveling in the water. Rabbi Galiyah, Rabbi Elazar ben Azari, Hilchu Kula. They walked everywhere in the boat. Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Kiva, Lo Zozum Arba Amos. They did not move, but not Me'ikar Adin. Sherotzu lahachmir al atzman. Really, it was permitted, but they wanted to be machmir. Now, Yamit Bishma b'malechas lo pligi. That really Me'ikar Adin. Everybody holds that you can carry in a moving boat. So Hainu Diktoni Rotsu. That even though technically they would be permitted, they wanted to be machmir. Why were they machmir? Dilma amda. Because you never know. All of a sudden the boat will stop. And then they won't have the heter of the moving daladamas. But if there's a fundamental machlokes, so it wouldn't be hayratzul achmir, it would be surahu. If they hold that it's osir, they would have just said osir, not that it's ratzul achmir. So that's how the Gemara is medayik from the Mishnah. Amar Vashi, Masnisa Nami Deka. You can learn from the fact that the Mishnah equated Diktani Sfina Dumya de Dir Visar. They sort of taught the din of boat along with corral. Ma Dir Visar Dikvi. There's walls fencing it in. Av Sfina Nami Dikvi. By boat as well. They're talking about over there a boat that's not moving, which is why over there there might be a machlokas by a non-moving boat. Amalei Ravacha, Bred Rav and Ravashi. From the fact that it says Hilchasek Rabbi Gamliel B'Sfina, that the halachas Rabbi Gamliel must be that there was somebody arguing with him. Hilchasek Meklal Depligi. Versus in, yes, there was somebody who argued. Matanya. Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yoshua Omer. Kol osa yom yoshvu. They learned this sugi the whole day. At the end, they said halacha Rabbi Gamliel b'sfina, that you could carry it everywhere in the boat. However, the halacha is Rabbi Kiva b'divrasar, that when you're in a corral, you can only have daled amas. Remember, if Goyim put you in a corral beyond your tchum.
Ernie, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sure you don't have a cold or something?
I don't have a cold, no.
Gotta stay healthy for next week, man.
God willing. Boy Rav Chananya. Yesh tchum in lamala masara, o ein tchum in lamala masara. The concept where you cannot go more than 2,000 amas, that's when you're on the ground, when you're walking on the ground. What about if you're above 10 tfachim? Is there a concept of tchumim above 10 tfachim? Amud gavoa savar rachav arba, a pillar that's 10 tfachim high and 4 tfachim wide, loy to boilacha. That's not a shaila. The aras michtihi. That would be treated like karka. It's a different elevation, just like a mountain is a different elevation. Mountains are considered as part of the tchum. A pillow that was not 4 wide, or inami the ka'azul b'kvitza. Let's say you're bob beaming and you can jump a fair distance above 10 tfachim. Is that considered that you carried beyond the tchum? Lishnachrina. Another way you could learn this question is bisfina mai. What about a boat? A boat is usually 10 tfachim above the seabed. So if you hold that ein tchum in l'mal masor, that there'd be no limit to how far you could go with a boat. Amrav Oshar, Toshma. Ma'isa Shabomi Plandersin. They came from this place, Plandersin. V'fligas finos bayam. And this was the debate between Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Akiva, could they carry in the boat or not? So, if there is tchum in l'mala ma'asara, so mishum hachi rotzu. So that's why they wanted to be machmir. What would be a problem? If there's no tchum, they don't have to be machmir. Because they were concerned that the boat perhaps is traveling in muddy water and it's not very deep there. Therefore, there would be a tchum. Toshma. They entered the port after Shabbos. And then there was a question, should they get off, should they not get off? So this whole question, because they might have been beyond the 2,000 amas tchum. So if you hold that there is tchum in lamala me'asara, then that makes sense. But if there's no tchum, if you're more than 10 tfachim above the seabed, I mean, what does it make a difference whether they were in the tchum or not in the tchum? There would be no tchum. Here also, it's talking about a boat that was traveling in very shallow water, so they were not 10 tfachim above the seabed. Toshma, Hani Shev Shmaitza, there were 7 cases of trephus that were being discussed. The Yitamin B'Tzafar B'Shabta Kamed Rav Chizda B'Sura. This was being discussed in front of Rav Chizda in Surah. On the same Shabbos, the same person showed up in Pumbedisa, which is much further than 2,000 amas. Now, who said over these halachas? Man amrinam. Lav Elio amrinam. Must be it's Elio Hanavi. Elio Hanavi travels above 10 tfachim from the ground. He has kvitza saderech, and must be that Elio Hanavi would not be over in Aveira. So must be from here, there's no din of tchum above 10 tfachim. Alma ain't tchum in the Alma Sora.
By the way, they say that from Surah to Pumbedita was more than 100 kilometers. I mean, 60 miles, 65 miles.
Right, so it's certainly more than 2,000 amas.
Right.
So the Gemara says no raya from here. Dilma Yosef Shida Amrinu. Yosef the demon, who doesn't care about Shabbos. Maybe he's the one who said over the halachas. Toshma. Hareni Nazir B'Yom Sheben David Ba. Person takes a neder and says, you know what? Yes.
Sorry, I just want to say, Pumpa and Surah and Pumbedita were on the Euphrates River. I don't understand. Why wouldn't they ask at 60 kilometers? I mean, 100 kilometers or 60 miles on a river is a possibility in a day. So how come they didn't talk about maybe we went on a boat yet to give the halacha?
But this is Shabbos.
I hear. I mean, it's just a strange Gemara. Okay.
Well, it's strange, yeah, because of Elio Hanavi. But they couldn't go on. A Jew couldn't go on Shabbos in the boat.
And demons also. It's a little strange. Okay.
Exactly. So Toshma any Nazir B'Yom Sheben David Ba. Person takes a neder and says, you know what? On the day that Mashiach comes, I'm going to become a Nazir. Now, we're supposed to believe that Mashiach can come every day. So the din is, Mutter lishtos yain b'Shabbosos v'yomim tovim. You're allowed to drink wine on Shabbos and Yom Tov because we have a Mesorah that Mashiach will not come on that day. However, Asur lishtos yain kol yemos achol, because maybe Mashiach came and you didn't hear about it yet. So you'll otherwise you'll be over your neder of Nazirus. Now, Yamit Bishma Yesh Tchumin. If we hold, remember, Mashiach is also going to come b'kvitza saderech. He's going to come milamala of 10. So I understand if you say that there's a din of tchumim above 10, he won't come Shabbos and Yom Tov, and that's why it's permitted Hainu de Shabbos of Yom Tov in Mutter. You're allowed to drink wine because he's not going to come on those days. But if you're going to tell me there's no din tchum above 10, so b'Shabbos of Yom Tov my Mutter, maybe he'll come on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So the Gemara says no. Because shiny Hossam, the Omar Kra, Inanochi Sholech Lachem et Elio Hanavi, Lifnei Yom Bo. The promise is Hashem is going to send us Elio Hanavi before Mashiach comes, the day before. And Elio didn't come on Friday. We'll see in a minute why not. But since he didn't come on Friday, Mashiach cannot come on Shabbos, even if there would be no din of tchum. So the Gemara says, you should be able to drink wine every day of the week, because again, you didn't hear that Elio Hanavi didn't come yesterday. Yeah, but that's not an answer, because maybe Elio Hanavi showed up to the Bez Nagon Yerushalayim. You just don't know about it yet. So Chanami, it's Lema Levezin Agadol Asa by Friday, and therefore you don't have an answer for Shabbos and Yom Tov either. So the Gemara says Mashiach cannot come on Shabbos because Kvar Muftach Lahen Yisrael Shein Elio Balo Ba'arbi Shabbos Lo Rav Yomim Tovim that time. Jews are busy. Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. If Eliyahu Navi came, they'd have to go to greet Eliyahu Navi. So Hashem does us a favor. He doesn't send us Eliyahu Navi Erev Yontif and Erev Shabbos. So therefore, Mashiach cannot come Shabbos and Yontif. Now, Kasal Gedaitich, we've been learning that Midiliyo lo asa, Mashiach nami lo asa. That if Eliyahu doesn't come, Mashiach doesn't come, so therefore B'malei Shabtai Lishtri, it should be always permitted to drink wine for this Nazir who made this net there on Friday as well. So the Gemara says, Eliyahu lo asi. Eliyahu's not going to come Friday, but Mashiach asi. But Mashiach could come Friday. Because the Kivin Dasi Mashiach kol avodim el Yisrael. Once Mashiach comes, all the other nations of the world are going to help us. So it's not going to be a tircha. It should also be a guarantee that he let him drink wine on Sunday, because Eliyahu Navi doesn't come on Shabbos, and therefore he can't come on. The Mashiach can't come on Sunday either. So from the fact that the Nazir is also to drink even on Sunday, must be that we're worried that Eliyahu Navi can come on Shabbos, and there's no din of tchon above a 10. So liv shut minei dein tchumin. Why don't we learn from that baraisa that there's no din tchum above 10? The yesh tchumin, if there was a din of 10, that there was no tchum above, that there was tchum above 10, Eliyahu couldn't come on Shabbos, and therefore you'd be able to drink the wine on Sunday. The loss of Eliyahu Shabbos. So the Gemara says, Eina chanami, that's a good approach, but what's going on here is something different. Hai Tana is Safukim Esafkale. Yesh tchumin o ein tchumin lamala mit 10. That Tana isn't sure what the din is above 10. Therefore, he's going lechumra by the Nazir, by Isser V'Heter, we go lechumra, but really we can't answer our question regarding whether yesh tchumin or ein tchumin l'mala masor. Now, the koi amos the konada. When did he make the neder? He lamed the koi b'chol. Did he make the neder on a weekday? Kiven the chal naziris. When the naziris was chal on him, heicha asyer shabta umavkilei. It means a normal naziris is 30 days. So, and if all of a sudden Shabbos is going to come, he can drink wine, how is he ever going to complete his naziris? Ela de koi b'shabta. So he made the neder on Shabbos, and the koneder uv'yomtav v'koneder or on Yontif, v'ayu yom deshari lei. On that day he would be permitted, but mikan ve'elech asur lei. Pamachas lo nichnasu l'namo. The boat was coming, and Rabbi Gamliel calculated through some mechanism that he knew that they had already entered the Tchum. How did he know this? Tana. Shpoiferes haisol Rabbi Gamliel. He had like a telescope. Shayamabit the sofa ball paimam of Yabasha. He sort of would take a fix on a 2,000 amma area on the shore, who connect Alpine Bayam, and he would sort of triangulate and figure out the 2,000 amma in the ocean. I wrote some later, kama umko shulgei. Person wants to know how deep a certain valley is. Same thing. Maybe Shroferes Umabit Ba. V'yeda kama kol shogeg. Rashi says he travels 2,000 amas. He sees what he would be able to see, and then he looks into the valley, and he'll know it's the same distance. Barotza later kama govo shel dekel. Now this is a geometry problem we all learned. If you want to know the height of a palm tree, so moide komoso v'tzilo, you measure your height and the shade, and then vitzel komoso, then you measure the shade of the palm tree, and then you have an algebraic equation: A over B equals C over D, right? Whatever the ratio of A of B is, and you know D, you'll be able to calculate C. V'yeda kama gover shel dekel. Rotza shelo tishrachaya roa b'tzel kever, when they were constructing grave sites, I guess wild animals would hang out in the shade there. So you wanted to make it, I guess, in an area where there wouldn't be shade for the wild animals. So noitz konabar b'shos bayom, you would stick a reed on 4 hours of the day. The year leichem silo nota, you see how far the shade goes. Mashpia v'oil, mashpia v'yored, and then you build the mound so that it doesn't create such a shade based on this calculation you did with the stick. Nechemia braid Rav Chani Loi mishkachte shmaitza unafatz chutzuchum. He was learning, and he got so tzechisht, he got so confused that he walked outside the tchum of 2,000 amas. Rav Nachman, Nechemia Talmid Chashor B'tzar. So Rav Chizda told Rav Nachman, your Talmud is stuck. He can't move more than Abba Abbois. We told them, take a bunch of people, make 2 walls, like make a shura, 2 lines facing each other until you reach him, and then he can walk back into the tchum between the 2 walls. What was Rav Chizda's problem? That because there were no people there, the koma boiling. And the question was, is the Hilchos of Rav Gamliel? Oh, ain't Allah Rav Gamliel means once you were outside of your tchum and you came back, could you travel everywhere there? Was that his shaila? Oh, Dilma Bedlomalu Gavriavskina. Or we're talking about where there are no people. And he had a different question. So we'll go into this a little bit more tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll learn Servam Rabbanon at 8 o'clock, and then we'll do the Daf Yomi at 9 o'clock.